lot of you go about your day talking to people, making judgments as you're having these conversations. You're making conversation in your head about what you think about the person, okay? And sometimes it's fair judgment, it's fair on what you're thinking about them, but a lot of the times it can be overgeneralization, right? Due to past experiences, traumas that you've maybe experienced, you see a bad quality about someone and you start your judgment process, right? You then label them as a bad person, you label them as a liar, someone that you can't trust, someone that you can't talk to, someone that you can't bring your family around. All these thoughts come to your head about bad things when you're overgeneralizing someone. All these thoughts can come to your head just flooding inside your brain, and they can be far from the truth, okay? And even if at the moment you are right on how you are feeling about the situation, overgeneralizing the moment gets you away from taking that situation, that environment, and turning it around, turning it into something else, turning it into something positive, something filled with love. So let's go back to when we're talking to people, right? You're having a conversation with your coworker, your boss, a family member that you don't necessarily get along with, or maybe you do get along with, but you already have them labeled in your mind as what kind of a person they are. You already have all these assumptions of the person, okay? Maybe it's been a whole week since you've talked to them. Maybe they've really gone through some terrible things that have changed them as a person and allowed them to grow as a person. And now when you have this conversation with them, you're generalizing them over past experiences that you've had before. Now, I'm not saying just completely close your eyes and be blind about everyone and have all this trust and love in everyone. No, because I'm not doing that myself, right? I'm not going to tell you guys to do something I'm not doing myself. But what I am trying to do is when I'm having these conversations with people, to have an open heart and an open mind while I'm receiving the information that I'm getting from the person. Okay, even if it's just a coworker and they're telling me something about a job or whatever's going on, but their tone is bad. They have a lot of attitude. I'm not going to lie, before, when I would hear this attitude, it would make me want to run away from the person, not be around that person. I wouldn't want to hear attitude. Okay, if people don't want to hear me yell, I don't want to hear your attitude. It's just how I've been thinking for a long time, okay? And I've realized that it's shut a lot of doors, and it's shut a lot of possibilities that I could have created with people. Now let me give you an example. There's this person in my life that I have to see that gives me attitude. They're not a girlfriend or a wife or anything, but I get attitude from them often. Okay, especially when we see each other, when we first see each other, I receive this hate and this bashing and snappiness and attitude from them. And what I realized is that if I calm myself down, right, because as soon as I start getting that attitude, I start feeling myself getting heated, you know? I start getting a little bit angry. I start thinking about maybe calling them out on their attitude, what I'm going to say, right? I'm not even listening so much anymore to what they're saying to me. I'm thinking about all these things going in my mind because I'm overgeneralizing the situation. I'm not quite understanding why this person is being so angry with me or having attitude with me or responding the way that they are with me, right? So I start overthinking it and I start assuming as to why they're like this, and I just start saying, oh, they're bitter, they're a bad person, they hate life or whatever. And you know, that's not always the case. That's not always the case. And I would have these thoughts and I would just kind of run with them, right? I would have these thoughts and run with them like, oh, they're a bad person. Just don't associate with them anymore. Just have the conversation you need to have, and don't even worry about being around them or communicating if you don't have to. And you know, sometimes you may have to do that if it's just someone that you're totally not going to see eye to eye with or get along with or even meet halfway with, because a lot of the times we don't agree on things, but if we can at least meet halfway or understand one another, there can be some peace, mutual understanding, and it can just be a way more loving relationship that you have with the person. So what I realized is that when I would receive this hate, this attitude, this snappiness, I would get angry, get myself heated, maybe start sweating a little bit. You know, my brain would start turning the wheels even though I wasn't saying anything. So then I learned to calm myself down. as much as I possibly could and listen to this person with an open heart. Because as soon as you start feeling a certain way, tell me not, even if you think you have the best poker face, a lot of you show it with your facial expressions, right? Even if you hear something that you don't like, sometimes, your eye will twitch a little bit, it'll flutter, and people will feel that. They'll feel that you're uncomfortable. Maybe they'll feel the heat resonating from your body as you get angry. The change in the atmosphere. People are aware. People see a lot of things that we think people aren't seeing about ourselves, okay? So with facial expressions, the second you start judging someone, they're talking to you, you're in a conversation with them, and you hear something you don't like, you hear something that is like beyond your boundaries, beyond how you would live your own life. Everyone's different, so how they live their own life is up to them. If you're married to them, well, then that's a different issue, and there's going to have to be communication involved. But if it's just some stranger, some person you don't have to deal with all the time, listen to them, and feel yourself be calm, and see how you can turn it around. This person that has been having attitude with me, I've realized that they have attitude with me when we first see each other, like I said, and I've realized that there's probably things going on at home that I don't know about. There's probably things going on in their life. Actually, I know that there's things going on in their life, and not everything do I know about, and I have to keep that in mind whenever I receive that snappiness, because when I calm myself down, I'm able to calm this other person down, okay? So when I'm receiving all this heat from them, all this negative energy and stuff, if I keep my composure and I show that I'm not getting pissed off with my face, that I'm not getting agitated, I don't turn my body around, I don't close off my body towards them, I'm still having an open body, making eye contact, trying not to think about how I'm truly feeling about the moment, because I know that there's more to it. And the second I do, my face starts twitching, my nose will start flaring, my lips will start quivering a little bit, right? It just all depends what emotion I'm feeling. Even myself, I think I have the most poker face around, but I don't. I know I don't. And I know other people don't either, right? Unless you're like a professional poker player, great for you. You could feel these things, but you're still going to feel them, and you're still going to let them affect you, is the thing. You're still going to get heated. You're still going to get these hormone changes, all right, going on inside your body because you're feeling a certain way. So, calm down. Take a deep breath. All right, there's this thing going around on YouTube that you can take the double breath in. You inhale, and then you inhale just a little bit more. All right, to fill your body up with oxygen and to quickly get rid of CO2. Now you get rid of the CO2 and you're making your body more alkaline rather than acidic. Okay, and then you're able to relax. You're able to relax more. Your body doesn't have to try as hard to pump all this blood through you, because now you're providing oxygen to all these tissues, to your brain, to your blood. Now you're thinking properly by breathing. And they don't have to see this. You could just be breathing normally, kind of hold your breath, and then breathe in a little bit more, and just breathe out. It's better that you breathe when you're trying to calm yourself down than thinking you're calming yourself down, but you still get angry with them, or you still maybe like twitch a little bit as if you're trying to intimidate them. You then make yourself bigger to try to intimidate them. You show it in your face. All these things are noticeable. People are seeing them. You think that they aren't, but people are. You may be asking yourself, why? Why do I have to show more compassion and love towards this person that isn't being fair to me, that isn't respecting me, that isn't showing love to me from the start? And that's up to you. You can call the person out. But do you really want to be getting angry all the time? And if you see this person again, you now have that association built with you guys. That relationship is now kind of damaged in the association of you getting angry when this person reacts this way. And maybe this person reacts this way because they're having to deal with a lot outside of the place that you're seeing them. And no one's understanding them, and no one feels like they are understanding them. So, if you make them realize that you are composed, you are giving a positive tone, a relaxed tone with them when you talk. It could be smooth, it can be settled. It doesn't have to be way out here where you're showing emotion, and it doesn't have to be over here okay, where you're maybe frightened to speak up for yourself and all this. No, just give them a normal, firm tone when you're talking to them with patience, let them vent, and then usually, I see that the people will try to turn around, okay? And that is you changing the outcome. And that will give you positive reinforcement of having patience and love and compassion with people, because you will see that the outcome gets changed. When you get angry and spark up an argument or call everyone out all the time, rather than just trying to understand the person before you call them out, or you know what I'm saying? You usually get the same kind of reaction, right? The person gets angry with you, and then they don't want to speak with you. They're trying to avoid you now. Rather than making eye contact to make sure you're okay or whatever, they're now dipping their head down, walking past you with their head down, put headphones in. All right? Everyone has seen this before, and it's because there was an argument. And you know, people don't like to be confrontational. At least that's what I think. Most people don't like to be confrontational. Now I'll tell you of a time I could have been in trouble by overgeneralizing someone, right? I was on a date, I was out at the bars, having a good time with my date, and there was this guy with his buddies, his group of friends, and he had a cauliflower to the max in both ears, right? And he was kind of buff, he was in good shape. I assumed he was a fighter. You know, either that or a wrestler that he probably knew a little bit of MMA in general. So I told my date, I was like, look, I'm going to go up to this person and ask them if they ever want to train together, if they ever just want to spar and fight, so that we can learn, not fight out of like, let's beat each other up to see who's more dominant right now. No, just like, let's try to make each other better. And that's the attitude that I had when I went up to that guy, right? I introduced myself, shook his hand. Everything was all cool. I asked him, I was like, look, I see your ears and I see that you have a black eye. Do you train? And he's like, yeah, I do mixed martial arts, and I have the black eye because I recently got in a fight. And I can't remember the full story, but he had gone in a fight with like two guys in an alleyway or something like that, and they completely beat him up, but he supposedly beat them up, and you know how it goes. I don't know the story. Anyway, he had experience with fighting. So here's where things could have gone wrong. I asked him if he wanted to train together, maybe like later that week. We could trade numbers and just meet up to fight, you know, to spar with gloves, with the protection, with the peace of mind that we don't want to murder one another, we just want to get better. Well, the guy didn't want to, right? And I was a stranger. I'm just a stranger approaching another person about fighting them, you know? So it's not the most comfortable approach ever, but it's something that shouldn't be strange to him either, right? He's having people approach him all the time about fighting in his little gym that he trains at, or big gym, I don't know. In his gym that he trains at, he's having people approach him and asking him to fight. But he didn't want to. Where this could have gone wrong is if he would have had a negative attitude with me, and he would have overgeneralized the person I was, and would have thought I was trying to assert some kind of dominance just because we're at a bar or we're possibly intoxicated or whatever. You know, he could have had those feelings, those emotions, and he could have been like, all right, let's do it right now then. I don't care about training later. Let's do it right now, and fought on me out of anger. But, you know, I was pretty chill. I was pretty happy while I was talking to him. I was smiling and stuff. I didn't do those things where I was trying to assert my dominance by making myself bigger, by my eye twitching, by my nose flaring, whatever it was. I wasn't doing it. But it could have gone south. It could have gone south. He could have been like, let's do it right now, you know? Even if he could have been friendly himself and been like, all right, let's just go to the back of the bar and spar a little, and then completely gone 100%. You know, and that's where you just have to be careful with how you think about people. You really do. And at the moment, I didn't care, you know, and I still would have gone back and probably asked him to fight still anyway. I don't care, but it can get you in serious trouble, especially when you're at work, you're with people that you have to see all the time, and now you're building this negative association with this person, and now they're just going to lash out at you every single time they see you because they have these emotions getting built up inside them, these hormones that are changing every time they see you, every time they hear your name, every time that they hear talk about you or your presence is around, that negative association will come back up in their body. And guess what? They might not be more compassionate and more loving than you. They might not have the patience that day. And they might just act and speak upon how they're feeling. Okay? But that's when you can come in, and rather than being like, oh, you're just a negative person. You're just angry all the time. You just don't even know how to live life. Like, don't take things so seriously. I don't know why my voice hurts when I start changing it, but it does. You know what I'm saying? You just don't want to be that way, because you can change the outcome. You can feel good about changing the outcome and that you had something to do with it, something huge, right? Because you're feeling these emotions yourself, but you were the bigger person. You were the one that calmed yourself down to be able to communicate, to be able to change the outcome. And now that's not magic. It's not magic, but it's pretty magical to me if you can change an outcome of which you know is going to happen, or there's a high probability that it's going to happen this way. If you don't change how you're acting or how you're speaking, if there's a huge probability it's going to happen that way, and you care, you kind of care, and you don't want it to happen that way, you can feel good about changing the outcome. And to be able to have this patience, this compassion for people, you have to be able, how you're feeling inside your body. Okay, understand how you're feeling when you're angry. Does your body raise temperature? Do you start sweating? Do you start feeling itchy? Okay, understand when you're getting sad. Do you start closing up your body? Do you kind of want to get away from people? Do you want to just dip your head down and have no one look at your eyes because they're going to see the sadness? Okay? When you're happy too, sometimes you can be too happy and someone around you is just, they had a family member that passed away that day or something terrible could have happened, and your happiness isn't congruent to the atmosphere, to the environment, or to your team member's vibe. So sometimes you have to understand that you're too happy, you're way open, you're way loose and stuff, and this can make the person feel better, but maybe you just have to tone it down a notch to be able to have a congruent conversation with the person, so that it's now relatable between you two, and one person isn't way down here on sadness and the other person is way up here on happiness, and you two are not going to see eye to eye on anything that's talked about, because both of you are feeling way different emotions at the time. So be able to understand your own emotions. Notice the subtle changes when you feel a certain emotion. All right, and start now noticing those changes. Notice your breathing. Notice your eye movement. Notice everything about you, your lips. Notice if you're a mouth breather or a nose breather when you're angry or sad or whatever, and you can try to just tone it down a notch, or you can just try to not have that behavior happen. The best thing you can do is just remind yourself that I'm going to have an open mind and an open heart in this conversation that I'm having right now. And that will hopefully allow you to not feel all these extra emotions built from past experiences that your brain might be running through, okay? Now, after you've had this conversation with the person, that's where, I myself will not try to overgeneralize someone, but I will make my opinions about them, and not always, right? But if I just completely hear something I don't like or something I don't agree with, I'm still going to try to have an open mind, because I can understand, hopefully, maybe why they express themselves that way and maybe what's going on, right? Understand it on a deeper level. If you understand it on a deeper level, that's more information for you, okay? And then you get to realize that people are different. The people might react this way, but have different reasons for it, all right? And it's better for you to understand the reason behind it, so you could just understand yourself and understand other people along the way. Still try to stay away from making assumptions about someone, about how their life is at home, how their life is with their spouse, how their life is with their kids. Just stop it all. Stop it all, because you don't understand it. Not 100% of it. Even if you see a little fraction of it, you don't understand the whole big picture. Okay, so you can only make your judgments on someone based on what you truly, truly know. And you can't truly, truly know why someone is acting a certain way unless you try to understand them. And they won't speak to you or trust you to open up to if your eye is twitching, meanwhile they're talking about the thing you don't like. Or if you start getting heated or breathing fast and rapid because you're just working yourself up. They're not going to trust you to tell you this whole story of what's going on. So you won't even be able to make a fair judgment on them. And I'm not saying just judge everyone around you, but that you're going to judge people. There's going to be people that you like and people that you don't like. Now for those people that you like, still keep an open mind and an open heart to their behaviors as well. Don't let bad behaviors just slide because you like this person so much. Then that's how you can get susceptible to manipulation. All right, if you're letting these things slide without consequences, and I'm not speaking like, you have to do something bad. Just no, stop talking to the person or stop hanging out with them if they do something you don't like, right? And maybe communicate that with them, or next time you do this, I won't be able to hang out with you because this is a boundary that I don't want to get crossed, right? Those are fair judgments, and you're trying to communicate with someone still, and you're trying to let them know how you feel. Now, hopefully they won't overgeneralize you, right? And call you weak, or call you pathetic, or call you insecure. Hopefully they won't do that. And if they do, they're making judgments without even listening to your full story. And now you know that you should probably just walk away, right? Or that you're probably going to get more heated to try to get your point across. And that doesn't work either, does it? If you have to get more angry to try to get this person to understand you, all they're going to understand is that you're getting emotional about a certain topic. They don't even care to listen to you. So the best thing you could do is just walk away. Let me give you another real life example. I just had an interview for another job recently, and I was nervous. I was sweating, right? But I wasn't going to show that I was sweating. I wasn't going to raise my armpits or whatever. No, I was nervous, and it was through a Zoom call, luckily, so I didn't even have to be there in person. But whenever the person that was interviewing me would look down to write what I was saying, I would do the double breath. I would breathe in, and then breathe in again, not loudly, but I would do it without them seeing, and then breathe out. And I just kind of smile after breathing out, because I felt myself getting more relaxed and more confident, more loose, and being able to show more of myself in this interview. Why was I feeling nervous? I was feeling nervous because a huge part of my future is all in the hands of this one person, right? And because I don't know what they're thinking about me. I don't want them to make prejudgments or assumptions about me. And hopefully they weren't. But to take control of that, I then started interviewing my interviewer. After they had been finished asking all the questions they needed to ask, I had a list of questions myself to make sure that this is the right person or the right company that I want to work for, right? To understand more. Whenever I would hear something I didn't like, I would try to keep a poker face too. And maybe ask more questions to understand why it's like that, and to see if the interviewer is compassionate with the staff members, or is compassionate with the things that I didn't like and what was being done about it, right? If it was just being ignored, a problem that is existing in the company, and it's just being ignored, I can get that information by asking questions. Now, if I'm over just generalizing things, and I'm in my own body, and I'm just super full of anxiety all over, and I'm thinking, this person is just, this person is different than me, and they're going to say no to me because of this and this and this, I can think negatively, right? And I can even think too positively. This person is like me. We're totally going to understand one another. I don't have to further explain myself, right? That's overgeneralizing too. You want to keep it as neutral as you can when you're having a conversation with someone, all right? Once they're a family member or something, yeah, you can, kind of get used to how things are, but even then that person can change. That person can change their views and their beliefs. So don't be overgeneralizing yourself, and don't be overgeneralizing other people. You overgeneralize yourself by saying, you know what, usually I get anxious here. I get anxious, and that's fine. That's fine. Understand that you get anxious. But don't say, I get anxious here, and I'm just an anxious person. And how am I going to do good here in this interview or in this job or in this situation or in this relationship or in this competition that I'm facing if I'm always scared? I'm scared, I'm anxious, I'm unhappy, I'm this, I'm that. No, you're a lot more than all those things, okay? And labeling yourself as I'm scared, you're saying you are scared, that's your identity. And that's not true, hopefully. Hopefully you have a lot more. All right? And even if you are anxious most of the time, there's spurts of you when you get courage, right? You get courage to get out of your comfort zone. And that's part of who you are too. Someone brave. Someone willing to go out of your comfort zone to achieve a goal. Someone who's willing to do something that other people are not because you have a dream. Okay? Even if it doesn't happen all the time, you don't have to associate yourself with one certain feeling. You're overgeneralizing yourself if you do. You can build relationships by not overgeneralizing other people. Not overgeneralizing yourself. Be kind. Be kind to yourself. To the things you're saying to your head. To yourself, okay? The things about you that you're saying. Be kind when you're communicating with someone. Even if you don't like them. You might learn something by being kind and showing that space, that open space of welcomeness, of people being able to feel comfortable around you. Then things could be shared that they normally wouldn't have been shared before, and you now have more information to make a better judgment and not overgeneralize. You can do better. You can do better with how you're thinking. You can do better with your conversations you're having. In your inner head, the conversations you're having with other people. You can do better with your relationship. You can do better with your friends. You can do better at work. With the religion you have, your faith you have, if you have one. You can do better at all of it. And everyone else can do better as well. So don't you be giving judgment that shouldn't be there. Look, and before I end this video, I just want to say thank you so much. Every single one of you out there. Alright, there's people out there saying like, oh, just post another video, or I like your videos, and things like that. Man, that makes me feel so good. There's times when I don't want to record. I didn't want to record today. You know, I'm recording this ahead of time, but I still didn't want to record as of today. But I saw a comment who was like, oh, keep posting, keep posting. People want to see my stuff. It motivates me. Thank you, every single one of you. Even all my haters too. Man, I love you all. I seriously do. A lot of you make me laugh. A lot of you bring me a lot of good joy and happiness in my life and push me to keep going. All right, I have goals in mind. I have end goals, believe it or not. I know what I want to do with YouTube and with everything else. And there's going to be things that happen that I wasn't planning. And, you know, I'm willing to accept that and have an open mind to it and see what's going on, you know. But I wouldn't be able to push towards those goals that I have if it weren't for you all watching right now. Every single one of you who likes my videos, who shares it to others, every single one who subscribes to my channel. Okay, I wouldn't do it if it weren't for all of you. So thank you. Much love. Love yourself, and then you can love others. And then you can just share that love and change the outcome with it. Thank you for watching.